dream.
Hey everyone, it's Brother Chris here with Gypsy Lady Eva. We're going to look at the 6 start points to do with actually the spiritual meanings of dreams. I don't know if Gypsy Lady Eva wants to start off with the top portion of the footnotes I've sent to her.
Well, this is the 13 powerful interpretations of dreams, right?
Yes.
Make sure we're on the same page.
Yes.
Well, dream interpretation has been something that's been has a long history. You can go back to, was it David interpretation of dreams?
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a while.
Well, is that to do with David and Goliath, or is that to do with David himself?
I think David himself. But there were several other stories. I don't want to say stories, but stories in the Bible of people interpreting dreams and how it was effective. And there were even dreams that were interpreted that there is a Messiah coming. So, in the Bible, that goes quite a ways back. But even you go to the Greek mythology with the Delphi, the oracles at Delphi.
Yeah.
Not only did they do it through other means, but they also did dream interpretation, and the whole prophecy type thing with dreams. And there's other situations in other cultures where, like in the Celtic or the Druid culture, that the women especially were given the responsibility of interpreting dreams and having the dreams to find out what the gods had to say. And I mean, this goes across, even in your indigenous people, there are dream interpreters.
Yeah.
Not medicine men or the sacred man or whatever they call
shamans.
But they are specific, huh?
Shamans.
I'm sorry?
Shamans, yes.
But no, the shamans. But no, they're in many tribes, nations, however you want to call them. I don't know anymore. They keep changing all the information or all the labels. And there were special people that would interpret dreams. They would have dreams to see what was, what the gods, the creator spirit had to say to them that could help them. So, dream interpretation is something that goes a long way. And we're going to embark on a journey of exploration into the spiritual meaning of dreams and how you can use your own thoughts to interpret what your dreams are. And Freud's interpretation of dreams, I read this, and I have never really agreed with Freud as being the guru of these sort of things, because he did propose that he did say dreams are the result of unconscious thoughts, and
yeah.
I agree with that. And I agree with its, these thoughts and desires, they are seeking expression. But when he starts getting into the interpretation and the true meanings, I have a little trouble, because I think it becomes very, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't really step out of the lines that he has set as this is what these dreams mean. I don't quite agree with that. I think the symbolism in dreams, not only do you have to look at what they are, you have to interpret them as you feel about them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Freud argued that dreams employ various defense mechanisms such as displacement, condensation, symbolism to disguise the true meaning of dreams. And that's another part that I read, and I'm going like, I don't quite agree with that, because I think, again, you have to bring the self into the dream, and what a car means to me and a car means to you are two different things. I can look at a car as a journey, and you may look at a car as freedom. It takes you away from everything. Do you see how I'm saying that?
Yeah, that's correct. That is correct.
So Freud, like I say, he's very, this is the way it is, and a lot of people just play into that, but you've got to look at the whole. It's like my interpretation of the tarot deck, I kind of go more into what you have as the oracle decks,
yeah,
where the one of the examples that I always use is the Three of Swords, which is a heart with three swords through it. Well, you can look at it in so many ways. They always say it means disaster, and it's like, no, it doesn't really mean disaster. Look at it. You're moving away from the storm. This is opening you up. So, and it's the same kind of thing with dream interpretation. Like I said, the car. For one person, it could mean freedom. It could be taking you away from everything. For another person, it's the new journey.
Yeah.
And maybe you have a truck instead of a car, which means you're going to have a fun time because, man, you're going four-wheeling there. Yeah.
Yes. And it's so true. I'm sorry for interrupting, but it's so true. Okay. It all depends on the way, though, that you look at the dream. And people might say one thing, right, but it could mean something else.
Which is why.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right. That's why sort of like lately, those underneath a good friend's show, I've actually sent a question to her, and it's like, hey, I've been actually having dreams to do with my parents, so I've actually passed on. What's it mean? But she's coming up with one way, right? I've addressed you directly, and you've come up with a different way. And it's so true, though. It all depends on how you look at the dream.
My response was, and I was going to say this earlier, and I apologize for interrupting. That's why I tell people, keep a dream journal. Now, you had a dream about your parents. This was happening. That was happening. Your friend in the other program said, no, this is what it means. Write that down. And you talked with me directly, and I said, well, this is the way I interpret it. Write that down, because eventually what's going to happen, and I've had this experience myself, and other people that I know do the same thing, and they've had the same experience. At a certain point, all of a sudden, it gels. When I dream about this, it means this. When I dream about this, it means this. But then the other day, I had that same dream, but I'm interpreting it different, because you start looking back at your notes.
Yeah.
So I highly advise people to please keep a dream journal. You would be surprised what comes out in that, because things you didn't think mean anything, but you wrote down anyway, all of a sudden take on a full meaning. Okay?
Yeah. And it's so true. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to look actually at from 1 to 6, but we're going to not read exactly what's actually on the page. We're going to kind of explain to you guys what it means directly to us. And this could be actually kind of helpful for you guys whenever you guys are going through dreams. So you guys might look actually our way, or might not look at our way, might take it in a total different way, just like what Gypsy Lady Eva had said. It all depends on exactly of how you look at it and how you interpret it. So the first one, though, that we're coming up, though, is communication with deceased loved ones. And this is so...
Right for you.
Sorry?
And I said, that's directed to you.
Yes. And it's so true, though. The reason why is because even if you're reaching out to other people, right, it all depends exactly what's going actually on within the dream. Your dreams could become to do with deceased loved ones. Again, those, like what I was saying, those my parents just recently passed away last year, within the same year, but 7 months apart is exactly right when they passed. But it all depends, though. And it all depends, though, because I'm actually having more connection with my mother on the spirit side. So what I'm doing, though, is actually, even though I'm dreaming, though, I believe, though, that I'm actually going to the spirit side and connecting with her. You know that sometimes she says stuff, and sometimes doesn't. It's the communication that's going actually on. You have to look what's going actually on altogether within the dream, right where you are, and try to figure out what's going on with that. Put the dots together. It's like it's not going from A to Z. It's going from A, B, C, D. So you have to look actually at each point what's going actually on. I'll give one example of those. And I said this to Gypsy Lady Eva. I had a dream, though, that my mother well, basically there was a couple of friends were actually in a car with me. The car was driving off, but all of a sudden we all got out. We got back in. There's 2 people that didn't make it in, but they eventually made it in. All of a sudden I saw this one room in this house. I went into the room. I saw a blue and white sweater, sort of like what my mother used to wear. It wasn't her ugly sweater that everybody hated. It was one though that I liked. It was like a teal blue with white actually on it. So I went into the room because I saw it laying on the bed. I walked in the room. There was my mother. She didn't say anything. She was shocked that I saw her. But the thing though is, I turned around to my mother. It's like, hey, everybody thinks though that you are dead. I'm not. You know that you are here. I'm not gonna let people know that you have passed on. What happened though? She gave me a great big hug. Right after. That's the remembrance though I have. So with communication actually with deceased loved ones, this thing here is basically those her with the blanket, so not the blanket but with the sweater and hug. This is her saying though that she's actually there for me. She's putting a warmth around me. So that there is an example to do with number 1. I'm going to throw over to number 2 once this is done. I'll go on to number 3. So go on to number 2.
Okay. Number 2 is premonitions and spiritual warnings. And trust me, they do give you warnings. Again, that kind of goes back many centuries, that dreams have always been associated with these premonitions. They can act as a beacon, alerting us to these things, or not. They can be a glimpse into the future, so that it kind of, again, a warning. This is what's going to happen. And they offer guidance to help us navigate these challenges that are coming our way, or to make informed decisions. It kind of goes either way. But you really have to pay attention to these kind of dreams, because that's how you get the wisdom. You can make the necessary preparations, or you can alter your course to better help you understand what's going on. And I can relate to that because I have had premonitions. I've had glimpses into the future. And the one that really stays with me was my sister's death. I saw the wrecked car, and it was almost exactly what had happened. And that's when I really started paying attention and keeping a dream journal, the whole thing. So it does do that. And I've had other premonitions throughout the years, just different things. Putting my finger on it, it's kind of hard, because I have had many at different times. I'm not going to say all my dreams were premonitions or glimpses into the future, or however you want to put it. But they have kind of helped me, because I do remember what the dream was, and it allowed me to think about this and move in a direction where it might be better for me. Not might be, it will be better for me. And sometimes you think about these dreams. The one dream I had, and again, this was many years ago, it was when I was first becoming aware. I dreamt I saw 3 hands reaching down from the skies, not heaven, the skies. And the one had picked up an American flag, and right after that we had the explosion of the Columbia, was it, where they lost all three astronauts?
Yeah.
I saw that premonition, or that was my premonition, and it has stayed with me. It's like, wow. When they send a message, they send a message. Be aware of your guides. Listen to your guides, and if you're in, it's not just guides that answer or that come into it's other spirits highly evolved type spirits, and it could even be the creator spirit himself, but herself itself. And just listen. That's why I say write down your dreams all the time. You'll never know until you go back and look, and then you will know. And sometimes you will know anyway. You're next.
All right. So our next one, though, is astral travel, or actually out-of-body experience, which is OBE, short form. So I do a lot of astral travel. And Gypsy Lady Eva, what's on your counter right now, though, that's round? Sitting by your sink?
Round?
Yep. So it's in your kitchen.
It's a jar of honey that looks like a beehive.
Okay. All right. Because that there is what I was kind of picking up.
I had to stop and think. It's like, oh, it's that jar of honey. I just found it, and it's soaking in water right now, so that hot water, warm water, to decrystallize it.
Okay. All right. So that there is astral travel. I can do that quite a bit. But OBE, though,
freak me out there.
OBE is pretty cool, though. The reason why is because even though you're dreaming, all right, you're actually even. This can happen right when you're sitting there, or actually dream within the 7 stages of dreams. Basically, though, is though that you're traveling to a different location, you're picking up the objects all together, is what astral travel and out-of-body experience kind of is. That's for OBE. But for astral travel, though, you're going from one location to another location, and you're actually picking up exactly what's there. You're actually asking somebody what's going actually on. For out-of-body experiences, and this is pretty good. This is pretty cool because this happened to me right when I was younger. Family was in a serious car accident, and I actually had an out-of-body experience. I'm not going to say much right where I was or whatever, because there's people that do believe and people that don't believe actually with inside of OBE altogether right where I was. But whenever you're doing this stuff, you have to be fully trained. You have to what I mean by fully trained, though, is you have to have somebody there beside you to help guide you and make sure, though, that you're fine. Once you get to a level sort of like where I am, all right, it can happen anywhere at any time altogether. And I would like to say, though, the colors actually on that honey, it's a nice color.
Thank you.
No problem.
It's good honey.
Yes.
It's local honey.
So it's like
that's why I didn't throw it out.
Yeah. Again, those like what Gypsy Eva has been saying, those whenever you have any experience like this, when you come back, jot it down what you're picking up. Communicate with people. If you got into somebody's house, if you've gone to a certain location within the world, you could actually be able to do this. Lately, I've been actually having a lot of weird experiences, and it is sort of to do with astral travel and out-of-body experiences. Now, I will be going sometime this year to British Columbia, to Victoria, BC. Yes, I have lived there, but I will be taking somebody that's brand new to that province. And for those who just wondering where that is, that's just over top East Seattle, Washington area. So what I'm doing, though, is I'm actually going through my mind of what we're doing actually out there. So, and this is way prior to. I'm seeing exactly how the person's body is right when I'm actually there. So I'm actually traveling ahead of time, but yeah, I'm still here. All right, so I'm going to give the next one to you.
Okay, dreams as sacred encounters. Why do you always give me the hard ones? Just kidding. Yeah, that's... dreams are considered, well, in spiritual tradition, dreams meaning is considered sacred encounters, between the conscious and the divine. And according to the spiritual meaning of dreams, they are believed to provide glimpses into the ethereal dimensions of existence. And this is where the soul travels freely and interacts with the higher realms of consciousness, higher spirit, higher beings. And these are regarded as potent channels through which spiritual guidance and revelations are bestowed or given to different individuals. That is something that, how can I say this? Once you experience it, you always want to go back, because it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And the higher levels of knowing and awareness, they just leave you speechless, because it's like you didn't know this existed. And that's also where these beings will connect with us. And it's not just a connection like you and I are connecting right now, but it's the only way I can say is it's three-dimensional with the fourth dimension thrown in. So it's really kind of almost beyond our grasp, but once there, you grasp it, and you know. And may I give you my experience?
Go ahead.
I was really getting into the spiritual aspect of things, and this was a meditation. It wasn't actually a dream, but I was taken to hear the celestial choir. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yes, I have.
I experienced it. The way I can describe it is I was taken to this place, and I saw other souls, and each soul had its own tone. So with the quadrillion souls that were together, they each had their own note to sing. But it worked, and it was beautiful. And besides that, there were a gazillion different colors, and it was overwhelming. And when I went to really look, I was taken back. I was only supposed to view it, not to participate. But I felt my cosmic note, and I know my cosmic color. And don't ask, because I can't tell you, because I can't take it from that realm to this realm.
Yeah, it's a sacred color. It's a sacred color for you.
Yes.
So it's like us, yeah.
I'm not even sure what realm it's in. Is it a red or a blue or a yellow or a green? I don't know, but I know that it's a color.
Yeah.
But that's what it means with sacred encounter. That's one of the examples of a sacred encounter. I was talking with someone, and they told me that one day they were dreaming, and it seemed like they took a step into another dimension, and all of a sudden they realized they were walking with someone, and they were just having this deep conversation about the soul, about all these things. And when they turned to look, it was a revelation, and they immediately woke up. So you got to be careful when you're there. Just let them tell you and navigate, and let them kind of push you and pull you where they want you to go, and you will learn from it. You will learn tremendous pieces of information. Yeah. And eventually it all comes together. And again, keep it in your journal. Write it down as best you can. Did I do okay?
Yeah. So our next one, though, that we're looking at, though, is symbols, and I can't pronounce this word.
Archetype. Okay. Or archetype. Archetype.
All right. So symbols and archetype or whatever. So a lot of people throughout years have actually believed, though, that symbols like squares, round, within your dreams actually do mean different things. That's what they've actually believed in the past. But with nowadays, some people do still believe in that, some people don't. But what it says, though, is dreams often speak to you actually within languages of symbols. That there, I do have to kind of agree, but sometimes those symbols could be too foggy for you within inside your dreams. Though that you're not really paying attention to that. But whenever you're going to dream those, actually kind of pay attention to the symbols. Again, those, I love the symbol of actually a triangle. And most people think, though, that's actually to do with the Egyptian time period. But it doesn't really mean that, though. It could mean something else. Some people also do believe that with the square, with the circle inside of it. And again, those, it all depends, though. Right when you're dreaming, though, if you see something like that, all right, even though that our bodies are moving a lot more slower motion, because whenever we dream, time goes by faster. It's because our body's more relaxed, our body is moving at a slower time. Try to write that stuff down right when you guys get up in the morning, inside your journal. That could mean something to you, all mentally or spiritually, all together. Great example of those, especially if you see an animal inside your dream. All right, that could be due with one of your past pets or animals, though, that you've actually came across. There could be people within your dreams. And like I was saying, though, at the beginning, though, is about my mom's dream. The two people, though, that I made outside the car. One of them, though, I was actually given messages for this person a lot earlier, like last month, though, pretty much. I was given messages for her. So I reached out to her when she got back actually from holidays, and I was like, hey, I don't know if this meant anything to you, but this is what I was getting all together. And that dream, though, I had my father inside the dream. She turned around to me and she said, yes, all this stuff does mean something to me directly, especially with the symbols that you were giving to me. I was like, okay, I don't know what it was meant for, but at least you were able to understand the stuff. Again, though, the spirits actually do speak to you within different ways. Once you become more in tune with your spiritual self and also with your spirit guides. Now we're going to move actually on to number 6, which is the final one for today. And again, though, I'm going to throw this back over to you, Gypsy Lady Eva.
Okay, dreams are messengers. Can we try this again? I'm not reading today. Messages from the subconscious. Excuse me. And it kind of goes along with the symbolism, too, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because let's say you dream about a wolf. What does a wolf mean? I don't know. What does a wolf mean? You're wolfing your food down? You're wolfing information in? Could be one way of interpreting it, a play on words. But it can also mean something entirely different if you look up the meaning of wolf in the different cultures. And you may have come across something somewhere in your studies, and the subconscious still remembers it, even though the conscious does not. And it communicates to you, and the subconscious mind will communicate desires, fear, and emotions. And they also offer an opportunity for deep introspection and healing. Because once you get what the meaning or what the subconscious is trying to say, it does allow us to confront unresolved issues and engage in intertransformation, which will transform the whole being. And dream analysis and reflections, through that we can unveil the messages that our subconscious is seeking to convey. And it enables us to navigate our spiritual path with greater clarity and purpose. And I know that sounds like kind of a mouthful to begin with, but there's really a lot to say in there, because I hate doing this, but according to Freud, the subconscious does, and I'm trying to remember which one is ego, and the third one. But they all do work together. Our subconscious, our conscious, and our spiritual. They all work together to convey messages to our conscious mind, so that we can begin to understand what our path is with greater clarity and purpose, like I said before. And sometimes it takes a little real deep thinking about what did that dream mean, and you may concentrate or meditate or think about it for several days before, oh gosh, that's what it means. It'll all of a sudden click, and you're going like, aha. And then I usually say, well, okay, not what I wanted to hear, but I suppose that's the best. But it will be a guidance. Your spirit, your teachers, your whatever you care to call them, are working with you. They just do it through the dreams, and that's one way that they do it, through the subconscious. And it will eventually begin to understand it.
Yeah. So right when you were saying wolf, I actually looked it up.
Aha!
All right. In many cultures, wolves actually are powerful symbols that respect actually with strength, freedom, and survival. They are also associated with loyalty, in tune, and spiritual guidance.
Makes sense to me.
So yeah. So again, those with dream. Go ahead.
No. I it was a funny. I was going to relate.
It's okay. Go ahead.
We get too serious sometimes. I remember this way back when I was beginning to get into this, and the story goes, you keep a journal. Please keep a journal, because a journal is good for you, and it does all this. So this person begins to write a journal, and we were told, and I was told the same thing, keep the journal by your bedside, because sometimes you'll wake up and it's like you have that dream, but in the morning you forget it because that was then and this is now. So you write it down as soon as you wake up. And I have woke up and wrote down dreams. So this man who is learning how to deal with dreams, or this person learning how to deal with dream, is sleeping in his bed, has this wonderful dream, wakes up, the journal is there and scribbling away furiously, and finally gets down, puts the book aside, rolls over and goes back to sleep. So the next morning, trying to remember the dream, they didn't. And, I got my journal. And he opens it up, and he looks down, and it says, write it down. You're supposed to laugh.
I am. I better listen.
That's what I would do.
I bet our listeners actually are listening, like not listening, but
and
also
they're probably
laughing.
going, huh?
Yeah.
Well, instead of writing the dream, write it down.
Yes. So it's like, but yeah. So that's actually our first portion of dreams. Next week, though, we have 4 segments altogether to do with dreams. Again, those we're going to be talking about this topic, though, and the topic in note was spiritual meanings of dreams. So join us next week for the rest of them. We do say thanks a lot for tuning in, and next week, though, we're not going to be starting with politics stuff, but we have to get stuff. We have to get you never know. We have to get our voices spoke, because there's going to be major changes. Again, though, is pay attention to the 15th. And also pay attention to the 27th of this month, though. There's going to be great changes happening spiritually and also to do with the world itself. So pay attention to those dates. And
is that asteroid going to hit us finally?
I don't know. I really don't know. But we do have...
Supposedly there is one coming.
Yes. But we do have to say to all of our listeners... since right now, though, it is Valentine's Day. I think it is, or that was yesterday. So that was yesterday. No,
Valentine's Day is the 14th.
Yeah. So, again, though, the 14th. Yeah. So that would have been yesterday. So if you guys were single, if you guys had somebody, happy belated Valentine's Day from us here at Podbean. If you guys are single, don't worry, you're still loved. So... the spirits are always around you. So, yes. All right.
Sorry.
Anyways, so you guys have a great one. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yes, and thank you for your time. It is deeply appreciated.
There's a shadow president in Washington sitting behind the revolution. We didn't elect this guy. He wants us to believe he's a self-made man. But he made his billions through hard work and his so-called genius. He didn't fit just a SpaceX explosion. But the truth is, he mooched off the American taxpayer from now subsidies our money. And he's too arrogant to admit the free ride that we have been giving him. Republicans used to attack folks living off government assistance, calling them welfare queens. It was all a myth. The real welfare queen is Elon Musk. And he's coming for more. Our Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, our jobs, our private information, our livelihoods, our safety. And Donald Trump is letting him. Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much.
Don't be fooled. This isn't about making government work better for you. It's about making America work for him. Are we gonna stand back, stand by, and let this happen? Hey Congress, we're talking to you too. Work for us. Do your job and stop this now.
Dream.